All right, all right, all right. Hopefully, no more issues today. Um, my streaming rig is in pieces at my feet, basically. I was trying to just add an NVMe drive, and I think it killed the board somehow. I don't know how. So now I have my benching B550 Unify X um, called into action. Which is not ideal because it only has one display out, so that makes streaming a little bit harder with one less screen coming off of the bench rig, or the stream rig rather. Not ideal. But anyway, talking about bench rigs, don't have a way of keeping the multimeter on illuminated all the time. I should have, but I'm sure it's somehow configurable. But that's what I'm aiming to do today, is keep the vGPU in sort of in sight all the time. So people bench 3D pretty much exclusively on Intel, with the exception of Time Spikes Extreme that was benched on AMD Threadripper up to the point where Sapphire Rapids was released, and now it's also a Sapphire Rapids bench. But there are actually some little holdouts where on cold, you're probably not competitive on AMD just because of the cold issues, the cold bug, and so on. So full pot Intel wins pretty much everywhere. But actually for Vantage, ambient CPU, 7950X is amazing. And even before that, the 5950X was really, really good. So that's what since I had my Tachyon already set up, and I had a HG6970 Lightning arrive today pretty much. I thought that was, and it's a juicy bench for that card. It's 70 points, so it's max points. I thought that would be a good combo to run. I tried to get Windows 7 to run. I haven't given up on it. I have a working Windows 7 for AM4. I'd imagine it's possible on AM5 as well, but I couldn't with as much time as I spent on it, which wasn't very much time, get that running. But the next best thing is, of course, 8.1, because we hate 10 and 11. I mean, 10 is starting to sort of age to that point where it's becoming a somewhat acceptable bench OS. But yeah, 11 is obviously total poison. Okay, let's load up. I'm sort of trying to think what would be a good. Let's just load the GPU Pi profile. What would be sort of a good analogy? Let's try 100. Actually, maybe so we're all on the same page, so to say. I did run off a valid run earlier, which I hopefully still have. Yes, I do. There we go. So, no, that's Firestrike. Okay. But that's okay. The other one's on my account as well. It's just a link away. So for Vantage, it's got to be valid. So I sort of did basically a stock run, more or less. So I've got it valid. 23.8 for graphics, which 6000 series. Just to give you an idea of what other scores are out there. So Bruno is on X299 and he's on 27.5. So if I'm on 23.8, so I need to make up a quarter of the score in graphics. And This was like stock everything on CPU. Fully tuned CPU, you'd imagine 150k is possible. But we'll see how 8.1 scores. I've never run Vantage of any kind, never mind Vantage performance. On 8.1, but you expect about 150. So even if we beat this Bruno score, that'd be nice. That'll be pretty solid. Hey, Mick. Finish Windows 10, yeah. I'm sort of in the same boat. I can't believe how quickly people have fallen for the basically the total fake out that is Windows 11. It's basically just a fork of 10, incrementing the version number, and then they just spend all the money on ads. I've never seen so many Microsoft Windows ads on like network TV. But anyway, let's go 1.4 for VCore is probably a bit adventurous. What I'll try to do is, I mean, let's try 53x. What's sort of the worst that could happen? I'm running out of profiles here. Cinebench single. Let's go over that. 6970 Vantage. So I'm really happy to have a. Hey Yi. But I mean, seriously, I feel like a broken record. And I feel like this comes up on the stream quite a lot. But like, what are the actual legit advantages to going to 11 right now? I think that like October 2025 or whenever 10 it will be end of life, there will be tangible benefits to going to 11. But now people are literally just like, I'm bored. I'm sitting at home. I have nothing else to do. Let's upgrade to 11 because sooner or later I'll have to do it. I mean, sooner or later, it's like 2 years away. Are we posting? Yeah, I think we're posting. Kind of annoying. So talking about the 6970. So the exciting thing for me with the 6970 is, first of all, I've never owned a 6970 full stop. And they're really hard to find in Australia, and people look for a lot of money for them for some reason. But the other thing is that the Lightning I find quite hard to find. I don't know if it's just a local Australian thing, but I've owned multiple 58s. This is working. I ran off a Vantage run earlier, and I even overclocked it and stuff. So I have had 3 5870 Lightnings, which to my knowledge were the first Lightnings ever. Certainly on the AMD side. I don't know. I mean, maybe the 480 on the NVIDIA side was earlier, but I'm just talking AMD now. 5870s. So now 6970 completes the sort of the family, but I've owned several 7970s and several 290X Lightnings. And I don't think anything came after that. It wasn't a 390X Lightning or a whatever, Fury Lightning, Vega 64 Lightning, whatever. So that was the last one. On NVIDIA side, I mean, 480X, I guess or GTX 480, I guess was the first one. I don't own one there. Like fairy dust, they're even worse than the 6970. 580, I have 3. 680, I have about 5. And then obviously there was the 780 Ti and all that. I think there was a 290 non-X Lightning as well, wasn't there? There was a 780 non-X GTX 780 non-Ti Lightning. All right. What? That's so strange of 8.1 to do that, because I literally just shut down the system and... Okay, the little green alien doesn't want to stay in its spot. I shut down the system and that was it. So I don't know why it's trying to do like updates and stuff. Okay, so let's No new chat. So briefly, the what I sort of went through was it took a little bit. I had to install from scratch on AM4 to get or on 5000. That's so high, so important to specify. So on 5000 series on AM4 Windows 7 is harder than on 3000, 2000, 1000 series. But I was able to do it by doing a fresh install. I tried first to load up that AM4 image here. It just boot cycled, multiple times. Sometimes there's a boot cycle, and then the second time around, it's like XP. A lot of XP images, you need to sort of reboot twice for them to the first time you use them on a new system, of course, not every single time. So I also attempted to go straight from USB, like make a new installation basically, and that threw a weird error as well. So the next thing I did was make an 8.1 USB, and that interestingly threw the same error, even though they were both UEFI boot USBs. But I don't know, maybe this is the retail BIOS actually on the Tachyon. Maybe if I go on to the non-retail BIOS, maybe there's some sort of fix in there. But then the next thing was, so I've tried a 7 image and a 7 fresh install. I've tried an 8.1 fresh install. So the next best, Vantage doesn't, to my knowledge, won't run on, I mean, it'll run on Vista, but good luck getting Vista going on AM5. And it'll also score worse, I think, from memory. So the next best Vantage OS would be 8.1. So I tried an existing like dirty 8.1 image. That's why you've got echo mark and stuff on here, and it worked fine after obviously some hardware detection. So that was good news that still works on 8.1. Haven't seen anyone. I mean, there's so much room for optimization, right? Like you always see when people bench a new generation, like AM5 people just did minimum effort. It was all like Win 10 basically. Like W Prime 32M, for example, is ripe for being run on 7 because it's so much faster on AM4 at least. And yeah, people haven't done much 3D either, and if they do it, it's on 10. So 880, 1375 stock, 4 temperature points. My chiller isn't set up yet since I moved to my new house, but I don't think it'll hold me. I mean, it'll hold me back, of course, because Vantage is a long bench, but I think it'll be okay. So we don't have, I'll try and up the exposure a bit so you can see the voltage even when the LED thingy sort of runs out. I mean, that'll probably be grainy as fuck now, but it'll do the job. Okay, cool. So you see 1.22 under load. That's kind of interesting. So this VDDC offset, I know on some cards that actually shows you the GPU the voltage, but here it just seems totally static. But I've got Afterburner Extreme Edition here. What's happened to this OS? All I did was grab some scores off. Not even that. I thought I had grabbed some scores off it. But anyway, this will show you the process of getting this all set up to have voltage control and clocks control. I wonder what the red LEDs are about, actually. Let me try and position Mr. Alien in a good spot again. Okay, right. So back into Afterburner. This OS, one of the problems with it being dirty is that when it initially boots, it's just not reactive for a couple of minutes. Yeah, and then the error messages pop up and then everything's great. Right, so we need power plan, I think, is wrong as well. Ah, fuck, okay. Good start. I don't know why that's a power. Okay. Power. I pressed down arrow. System. Okay, I'm going to give up on the alien. Okay, so it's high performance. Never. So it's still... Oh, it didn't apply. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Let's apply. I'm going to do a run as is, but I also sort of am remembering that I probably need to disable SMT. That's usually the go. Vantage only scales to... Yes, I wanted to go to bias. That's why I've been mashing the delete button for the last 2 minutes. It wasn't just for, you know, exercise. I actually did, in fact, want to go to bias. That's just one issue with modern AMD. It's like the postcodes are... I don't know, I can't get used to them. I can't really ever really judge whether I'm now at the spot where it's almost posted or not. It hangs on 15 for a long time, and if you're not paying attention, you don't know if it's the first second of it being on 15 or the last second of it being on 15. 0, 0. The fuck? This is just total troll. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stare at the postcode and I'm gonna try and judge a spot where I need to really mash the delete button. Okay, it's still restarting. Now is not the time. As I'm being careful not to kick my streaming rig. Okay, 26. It's too early in the post cycle. 70, still 97. I think now is the time. A2, it's looking good. If it goes to A6, we know we're going into bias. AA is like 0, 0. I don't know why it's doing that. The fuck? Okay. I mean, I'm gonna clear. This is so weird. So the reason I want to go to bias is in order to apply a profile because no profile is applied, i.e. the bias is cleared. But in order to go to bias, I'm gonna clear bias. When the only reason I'm going to bias is because bias is cleared. Someone understand that? Yeah, Win8 has that thing. I mean, I want to generically be able to go to bias, and sometimes you're cold booting and you don't have the luxury, or your OS is fucked and you don't have the luxury of going into OS in order to leave OS straight away again to go to bias. Okay, it's now 97. 97 is usually a good spot. And A2 is actually where, but it's doing this weird thing where it's going to 0, 0. Oh, PS2, yeah. And you know, the other issue is, I think CSM. Now this is PS2, but it's PS2 via adapter. I mean, I can disconnect the OS, and then it's got to go to BIOS, right? I also don't really want to clear BIOS because I initially thought the card was dead because CSM was off and it was hanging on card. So I'm sort of surprised that I've hit the CMOS clear button potentially twice now, and it's detected the card, but now it's on F3. Fuck me. Okay, so I do have to pull the card because now CSM is off and it won't detect the card anymore. Man, nothing's ever easy, is it? This is where it's a little bit frustrating with the different tachyon. I mean, this is really high level criticism, but it's a bit frustrating that I think the Z590 tachyon had a profiles button, like a physical button on the board. And what I did then with legacy cards was I would put essentially an empty profile into one of those buttons, and the only thing changed was CSM enable. So no matter how hard of a crash I'd get and how much I'd have to, clear CMOS and all that, I could then hit the profile button and still be able to post with a card that requires CSM. So here we go. This is the magic entry, CSM enable. And I think the really paradoxical sort of thing is, or the sort of dumb thing is, I think I'm right in saying that on iGPU with CSM on, it then won't post. So you have to sort of apply, then turn off the system and immediately put in a legacy card. And then actually seeing that multimeter reading there, 1.178, what's it called? Afterburner actually has a setting saying, there's two different types of lightnings, or there's two different kind of stock vid cards in general for the HT 6970, and there's a set, like a drop down where it lets you switch between 1150 millivolt cards and 1175 millivolt cards. So apparently this is a 1175 millivolt card, which isn't really surprising given lightnings are a pretty top end card with pretty, I guess, aggressive stock clocks. It's showing 00 again. What's that lead? I think that's the DRAM lead though. No, it's just boot. Let's try limp mode. It was all working so well earlier. And now it's doing all sorts of weird stuff. A6, okay, entering, that's usually entering bias. How could it be? I don't know how it can get as far as A6 and then not display. Of course, it would sort of help to actually have the HDMI cable in the car that we want to use for display out. Is that gonna work now, or do we have to re-limp? Let's re-limp. The good thing is we'll just run through all the issues now. We're like cable in the wrong port, CSM not enabled, all that stuff. We'll just run through that in the first hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours of the stream, and in the last hour there'll actually be benching going on. Is my prediction. Okay, so maybe limp mode has CSM off as well. Okay, let's do the same dance once more. Maybe I should have, I don't know, maybe some of the settings were still in there. I should have probably loaded optimized defaults and then enable CSM. Alright. Cleared CMOS. Here we go again. Maybe it's this is an opportunity to show the card. So the usual cooler design, I think that's the same as the 580. And then you've got your 2 8-pins. You've got your really handy voltage read points. So you've got, I think they label it as PLL, the top one, and then memory, and then the bottom one is VCore. You've got triple bias, I think. Can't really. Okay. That's actually interesting on such an early card. But it's not really. So it's weird. It's kind of got 3 distinct positions, but it doesn't have a label for the middle position. And it was I just saw that it was on the middle position. So I'm going to put it on. Left is labeled silence. Middle is unlabeled. And then right is labeled performance. I'm going to put it on performance. Otherwise, we've got some dip switches down here to like disable OCP and stuff. Hopefully it doesn't, I don't think on air it'll get to that. But okay. Let's do this. Let's load optimize defaults. Have a look that it actually looks like, yes, we do appear to be on some sort of defaults here. And now I'm going to enable, I think that's correct, enable only CSM. Fully wait for it to go back into BIOS. Then save that as a profile. Then shut down without making changes. Then switch to the other card. Then go back into BIOS and actually apply an overclock. Hi Pirate. You're not missing much yet, but hopefully later there'll be a bit of Vantage benching, which I think you enjoy as well. See, now I'm getting that red LED again. It legit doesn't. It won't post I mean, I thought I was being a bit like, I just didn't think things through earlier, but I think it legit doesn't post with CSM on with the iGPU. I mean, I like Vantage too. What's with that red LED? I don't get it. The card is fine. The system's fine. All the settings are correct. And it just hangs on F3. This was, I mean, just trying the other V bias position, but I don't really get it. Wow. Fuck. It was the V bias. Was it? Or is that just dumb luck? Is it just, did we just have to okay, so now it's on the silent bias. I don't think it makes a difference on a lightning card. I think on the 580s and the 680s you get a longer slider on the LN2 bias. Yeah, okay, that's not going to really factor into it today, I don't think, if that's even the case. Right. Okay. Okay, this time what we're going to do is we're going to load the Vantage profile I just made, but we'll add CSM. And we're just going to have a little look around. I mean, I'll drop Infinity Fabric. I'll just go like really safe, like really fucking safe. Okay, we have our CSM. I expect great things. 1000 megahertz on air. What do you think? I mean, it's on 15. 15 is sort of a I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet code. It can mean lots of things. Now it's on 26 with the fan spinning up, so that's something. Yeah, I should have plugged in my drive, but I can now go into BIOS. Okay, everything applied. And now the next step is Add an SSD. Okay, so all I just hit was the retry button. It's quite nice on this board. You have everything down at the bottom. So you have clear CMOS, retry, limp mode, and reset, and power, and the postcode, and the diagnostic LEDs all at the bottom, and also bias switch as well. Let's do it. Let's run some Vantage. Unsupported signal. No, that's not true. Now my capture card is acting up. It's not an unsupported. Fuck. It's definitely not an unsupported signal. Let's go. I know. Oops. What resolution does Vantage run at anyway? 1280, I think. Yeah, 1280. Let's go with that. Okay. I mean, it'll be a bit weird for screenshots and things, but let's just make sure it's 60 hertz as well on true color. Okay. All right. So, just for the benefit of newbies, first thing you do when you launch Vantage is you disable all the 6 feature tests because they don't contribute to the score and they just waste time when you run them. Then you've got 2 GTs and 2 CTs. I'm gonna just double check my clocks. Since I am on air, I have to be a bit careful, but I don't think. I mean, we can disable SMT in a minute and see how that changes things. So 1.35 is for vCore on the CPU is probably a bit on the high side for a threaded bench like this. So we'll just give it a run. Hopefully, you know, like really hard crash that leads to a BIOS reset that leads to having to re-enable CSM or something. So you do need latest system info. So the fan's spinning up a fair amount, but still okay. I think Billzoid had a pretty decent. Okay. Yeah. Need to. So that was like a thermal shutdown type thing. I think the first thing I'll do is disable SMT. I have to test it as my probe falls out. I have to test it if it's actually like legit better for the score, but just because I don't have my chiller yet and I'm just on a big air cooler, makes total sense to just disable SMT and go from there. See if I can get 1.35 volts through Vantage CPU tests on 16 cores and 16 threads. What do these cards have in terms of memory actually? Is it Hynix? Something's happening. Okay, so all Zens are actually a bit funny about disabling SMT. Sometimes you kind of have to do it twice. So let's check CPU Z. Okay, so it is off, 16 core, 16 threads. We're still at 1.35. Why am I opening Zen states? I don't want to do anything. All of these extra, I'm just gonna get rid of these just for the moment. This is the only 3D mark I want to run. Boom. Oh, and also these newer system infos are a pain because I think in Vantage specifically, you have to relaunch the benchmark after every run. It like doesn't, it just throws the generic error on the second run no matter what you do. So that's a bit of a shame. I have no idea if this is good or bad, what I'm seeing here in terms of ops and ROPS and time and whatever else. I think this is about a 30-second sub-test, isn't it? Yeah. It's probably about as long as I'd want that to run, because the thermals are probably not amazing. Oops. So 130, 39 or so. Okay, I want more than that. I thought I was gonna be going, you know, be cautious about this, but I want to break the 140 at least. I mean, I did drop down my RAM by one divider, one strap. Let's go up 100 at a time. See, now if I hit rerun, it'll give me a system info. This, I don't know if someone knows how to fix this, you know, let me know, but I didn't think that was avoidable at all. Well, it's running. Okay, so this, I'm just looking for buildies, little Vegas score. So that was on 10 and it was 147, but it was 5.5. Yeah, I can probably get there. Let's get back to the legendary benchmark that is 3 Mark Vantage performance. And the buildie was on 16 and 16. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, for 142. Now I'm curious to see if like clock for clock, how it looks versus build set. I mean, if I beat them clock for clock, it'll be down to OS choice and stuff more than anything really. So 5.4 passed. Just for shits and giggles, just here we go. Same system info issue. I mean, it's a quick bench to relaunch, but it's just the subtest selection that's annoying. Okay, CTs only. .311, yeah, I do vaguely remember 311 having that issue, but at least the rules on how. A red screen. Okay, so that was potentially a little bit too much. We can try 545, but I'll also go up a strap in memory. There's a few more things I can do. I'll go up a strap in memory and a strap in FCLK, then rerun 54. I'll actually just boot in at 54. And then, so F3 is save a profile, F4 is load a profile on Gigabyte. It's always nice. Little shortcuts. So the way the rules are structured, I think it says, so the current release of system info is 5.63, I think. But the rules allow for Vantage system info 555 and above. So I could do a bit of system info bidding. I mean, at one point I was running Vantage for, I think, Team Cup, and it was so frustrating because there was a pretty recent but not allowed in the comp version of system info that was actually scoring crazy high. Or I'd actually argue that the new versions were scoring crazy low in relation to that version, but it wasn't allowed. Why is it doing this sign-in bullshit? Changing clocks, but even if I don't change clock, well, maybe. What is this? OS. I did nothing to you. Oh, okay. At least it's sort of recovering itself. So that's just, for those who are not aware, the encore that's displayed in CPZ is not FCLK, it's just M clock, I think, or U clock or something. So you got to go to Zen Timings to see the real FCLK. So I've gone from 2000 to 2100, and the RAM has gone from 3000 to 3100, 6200 effective. So let's go 54. And the last completed run was 142K. So hopefully we see some sort of uplift. Now it is interesting though. I'll keep in mind that maybe it is related to clocks changing. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, Vantage is not really a bench that you sort of rerun all that much on ambient at the same clocks to get a higher score. So that would be consistent, that I would always be changing clocks. But I'll try. I'll do it straight after this. I'll just do a rerun. And then I run, if the rerun actually works, I'll then go to 5450 and see if that causes the error, and then we'll sort of have confirmation of the issue. Why am I hungry? I just had 2 burgers for dinner. Probably have a worm in my stomach or something. Okay, so 142 again. So the F clock and RAM did nothing really. But let's try a rerun. No, didn't clock change doesn't do jack. Isn't related to this. It doesn't seem like to me. Okay, let's give it 50 extra megahertz. I mean, I'm sort of tempted to go up to 1.4 vCore, given that we're only on 16 threads now. Let's try 545. And relaunch. I mean, yeah, CT is, you could rerun forever, but I'm just saying in terms of full runs. So how are you guys doing? What anyone watching the NBA playoffs right now? Or the NHL playoffs? Or just done watching the Chess World Championship? What else is going on? Actually, it's budget night in Australia at the moment. I should really be looking at the live updates. Cost of living relief is #1 priority. The global outlook is dragging down Australia's growth. Oof, that almost looked like a fail, but it wasn't. I mean, 5450 is. I don't want to spend forever on this. I said my goal was over 140k. Okay, 143. Okay. Now, so let's see if I can select GTs and see. It's just any rerun of any nature. Okay, so what did I previously? Where's my afterburning on here? Okay, so just. Oh, I think it had to reset afterburner because I changed biases. Okay, so what do we need? We need extend overclocking limits, or else you'll run out of slider, especially on memory. Like this core 1700, like 2600 core is crazy. Just as I'm about to apply a voltage and actually make the multimeter interesting. So extend overclocking limits is absolutely essential. I'm tempted to try and disable ULPS because if I now go into sensors, it's low. So let's see if we can disable ULPS and actually get it to stick high clocks. That's sort of dependent on the generation of card and stuff. But yeah, if that setting were to work, that's what it would do. Is it would keep the card in 3D clocks. I guess 3D voltage too, but that you sort of take care of anyway with the other option called force constant voltage. Oh, that was super fast boot. Okay, nice. So let's go into GPU Z. What if I now go to full HD? Will my capture card cooperate, I wonder? Let's do it. Now, disable ULPS didn't do anything. So here is that selection between the different types of GPUs. Extended MSI, I guess, is important because it's a lightning card. Unlike voltage control is important, force constant voltage. Those are the main things. So now let's go 1250. I don't know if that's a sensible thing or not, or let's apply 1250. So 1277 on the multimeter. Let's give the extra power limit. Let's try 1000. $14.50. To render tests. Okay. And let's do a full run because we can't do partial runs because then we have to relaunch the bench anyway. Which is a bit of a shame. I hear a bit of coil whine already. Oh, Mick isn't modded. Oh, that's a shame. Let's change that. Okay, so 88 FPS start. By the way, I like asking. Okay, that's a core. That's a core. That's a core fail. Didn't look like a memory fail. Let's see if we can recover 1300. Is it applying? Yeah, we even have a bit of over voltage going on there. And let's go render test again. So Vantage is interesting in the sense that's already a lot of volts. So under load, it's upvolting for some reason, overshooting. Anyway, I mean, I was gonna say that's the most I'll apply, but if I see scaling, I see scaling. I just okay. Let's drop down to 25 megahertz. I mean, 1450 could be adventures as well, but let's just see if we can get things going in the right direction. So Vantage is probably the 3D. Well, its downfall is probably that it's the 3D Mark with the highest weighting on physics, or CPU test as it's called here. So you can kind of cheat it. Like, this is kind of a cheat. Like, I'm probably going to be passing some like water scores and some really good cars on really good clocks because of 140k CPU tests, whereas back in the day, like a 5960X was like 80k CPU on LN2 or something. Like, it's really, that stuff is really ramped up. Okay, we haven't gotten this far before. Where's our good thing that this is this stream is marked intended for mature audiences, because those jiggling boobs and the upskirt shot that's about to come, it's pretty X-rated as far as, you know, 15-year-old 3D benchmarks are concerned. There we go. There's the upskirt shot. It's brief, but it's there. It's a pretty good. It's a pretty cool bench. Not just because of that. Hey, Bullant. How are you doing? This is the Tachyon. Doing some Vantage benching. On and well, we got further. Hey. Just in case the fan curve is just idiotic, I'll just 100% fan on this is pretty unbearable, but I'm just gonna apply it just to see if that makes the difference. Yeah, 7950X is really good for Vantage. Yeah, so I think I don't know if my MC is bad or there's something going on. I really am struggling to get a memory up on this chip and this board combination. But I think that like with CPU on water and good IMC, 150k plus easy. Like cold 13900K is probably still better than cold this because it cold bugs and stuff, but like ambient, it's legit the best chip around. I mean, maybe the Xeons, Sapphire Rapids could compete with it, but it's legit the best for CPU score. But I don't know if people have run. I mean, I don't know how it's going to influence the GTs and stuff. I'm just so happy to have this card finally. My first 6970X or HD 6970. I have 6990s, but they're just not as exciting as this. I mean, I think this GT is gonna pass, but GT2 is heavier. GT2 is both longer and heavier. I just gotta love 3D benching. I think, you know, sometimes it can be really frustrating to actually work on 3D on your own, but like 3D streaming is just where it's at. It's so nice to have something visually pleasing on the stream and to have time in between runs to, you know, explore the rankings or whatever. People have seemingly got wildly different opinions of things. Some people are like, "Oh yeah, Vantage, awesome," and then someone else joins the stream and goes, you know, puke emoji. Come on, embrace it. I mean, it's not my all-time favorite bench, and there's certainly things that I don't like about it. But I mean, this definitely beats like Y Cruncher Cinebench 20, where you're just rendering a couch, Pi Prime, all that bullshit. Jane Nash. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. The upskirt shot is legit on Jane Nash. So this is what I think. This is from memory. This is like a 2 minute and 5 second or 2 minute and 10 second GT or something. It's crazy. You love to get a cup of tea while it loads. You get a whole meal. Couch game. Yeah, I'm just never gonna let it go. And then the absolute idiocy, you know. What are they called? Maxtron or something? The makers of Cinebench just decided to take it easy and make Cinebench Release 23 just 20 on a loop. And then Hybridbot was like, nah, 10 minutes is too long. Let's unloop it using Benchmate, making it the exact same fucking bench as Cinebench 20. Except, you know, there's a single core ranking, but the Cinebench 23 multi-core is exactly the same thing as Cinebench 20, except it, you know, Benchmate is mandated, and you know the logo is different. Those are literally the only two differences, and it's a different ranking on Hybridbot. But I mean, you know, yeah, it's part of the charm of disabling some benches, you know. But yeah, I like when you can pass a command line argument to select subtests. Not that I'm aware. No higher thread as far as I'm aware. I think I might try and max out my memory first now. I really need to know, like, GTs, you know, you can look at end frames and stuff. On Firestrike and TimeSpy, I was doing Firestrike and TimeSpy IGPU earlier, as crazy as that sounds. And you can look at the start frame and get a good idea of what the score is going to be. But these two CTs, I mean, on 06 it's easy because it's like single digit frames. So it's like, oh, we got an 11, that's better than a 10. These is just like random numbers. I've never like sat down and taken the time to look at what they mean. I mean, it's gonna be pretty consistent, right? Like it's still gonna be 140, yeah, 143. So 31k. So let us look at. Well, we're behind Bruno. Let's just get a gauge of how bad this is. 5.4 CPU core, I think. But SMT off. So that's already, so 31.1. See what I mean? Like, so this is the closest score. And he's got 200 and, like 100 and almost 200 core on me and 100 memory. But because it's on Haswell, like the CPU score is going to be like 100k less. It's literally 103k less. That's insane. So that's why I mean, you know, that's kind of the knock on it, is that it didn't end up being very future proofed. Vantage, I mean, because you can just sort of cheese it like this. I kind of want my screenshots to be valid. How can we? I mean, the CPU-Z fits. Okay, I wouldn't rely on this being. So what? That's what 31.1. I mean, I wouldn't exactly want to sub that, but maybe later I'll have to go to full HD. Okay, anyway, so cooling did make a difference. But Bulla, I'm not really pushing the CPU. I'm obviously only on air. My chiller isn't assembled yet. I'm mostly just investigating this card. Let's try a nice round 1000 and 1500. No, not 444. God damn it. Nah, I feel like, yeah, I can always use the Elmer calculator to work out what my full run score would have been had I bothered to run the CPU tests. I just want to do GTs now. But Vantage Extreme has got globals now. What are you talking about? It does have globals. The engine UI is fucked, yes. Oh, okay, I should have read on, sorry. Okay. Now, I think the core for this... Okay, let's give it 1.3. Whatever that will end up being on the multimeter. 1.328. And try 1000 again. Yeah, weighted harmonic mean is, that's the thing in 06. Like, I often think, you know, I can just like blast through 06 with really high CPU score, but it actually It's like weighted like that. But extreme Vantage isn't to my knowledge. Vantage is like, is it like a 50-50 thing or something? Well, it's part of the fun of it is that there's like, you're more likely to break it, right? Like a lot of 3 Mark 11 scores and fire strikes are like from when Kingpin was still benching because he just had the best card. Whereas, I mean, I go back and forth on it. It's not completely broken. Whereas, I mean, the best benches obviously are 03 and 01. Like the fact that 01 is back scaling with Cole GPU now, both in single and dual card, is just insane. 06 legit is like perfectly balanced. I don't know about the other ones. Maybe they are like they employ something similar, but 06 is really clever because, oops, hi white shark. Okay, so that didn't do anything. So we're not seeing scaling there anymore. Let's do like 990 and 1250. Hopefully it's not memory. Like 06, you can run a PCI card on like a 50 core, and the CPU test will go crazy, but it just doesn't contribute all that much to the overall score. It's just perfect. Which makes it an even bigger crime that they removed globals from 06. But don't get me started on that topic. But the problem with Extreme 2 is isn't it like a pretty high resolution, so it becomes a slideshow on old cards. It's good for like global, but like, do we even still want globals necessarily on Vantage? I mean, no, I mean, I'm always in favor of preserving old benches. Yeah, that's pretty big. I'm not a big fan of Firestrike Ultra because it's just, I don't know. It just turns into a slideshow. So there's no tweaks for this, right? Like, so test off doesn't do anything. I mean, I can still test it. That'd be funny. $25 CPU. But that's a lot because then like the absolute size of it's still yellow. What's yellow? Hey Shaggy. Is that the color of her underwear or something? Yeah, I mean, like Time Spy, Firestrike. I mean, Firestrike at least combined. Oh, hello. Um, okay, that was pretty much bang on 8,000 end frames, so I should keep track of the end frame. At least Firestrike has combined. I don't like the trend that now a lot of the new benches like Port Royal and Speedway and stuff just have GTs. You sort of want a whole system bench. Like I guess maybe I'm asking for a bit too much here, but PC Mark intended to be a whole system bench, and it obviously wasn't, and it never has been really. Certainly, CPU benchmarks are not a whole system bench. At most, they're like a memory and a CPU bench. I don't know. I think 3 marks could fill that gap. Like we haven't. It doesn't really feel like we've had SSD bench. That's not a whole system bench either, is it? That doesn't bench your GPU. We haven't sort of like had a full fat release of a 3D Mark in a long time, like since 2016 or something when Time Spy came out. Like, to me, like the full on 3D benches are, I don't know how far back I want to go. Maybe 3D Mark '06 did a good job of it. 2 different shader models and 2 CPU tests. So '06, Vantage 11, Firestrike, Time Spy. And since then, like Wildlife, Night Raid, Speedway, Port Royal, they all have their flaws. Like Port Royal, can you even run Port Royal on a fucking AMD card yet? I don't know. It's just, it's a bit weird. So 8,000 was the first end frame. I mean, the paste on it there could be really bad. So 990 on air if this passes. I was wrong, by the way. I said it was GD2 was 2 minutes and 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Is more like 2:30, right? Ah, that's such a late fail. Wow. Okay, I'm not gonna entertain the whole rerun game. I'm sure it could pass. Oh, whoa! Did anyone catch? I guess the core volts reset because of the crash, right? Let's try. I mean, that was really close. So let's try. We want more volts? Oh yeah, let's try a little bit more volts, just in case that's all it needs. Is there a good way of locking clocks high on AMD cards, by the way? I mean, besides ULPS, which doesn't seem to work here, I could try the regedit ULPS in case that's gonna work, but 7900 XTX score is 19k. I don't know what 19k means. Never bench Port Royal. Jane Nash. The fact that the GT is named after her is just the icing on top. Hmm. 20k flat. So people are just not benching AMD cards, and they could take the world record if they wanted to. I don't get it. Or is the scaling just so fucked that getting that extra 600 points takes too much? Ah, 3090. Okay. Whoa. So that was worse. Leading me to believe that reducing VCore might be the way to go. Probably. I mean, 1.25 under low does sound like something that would be a good setting to use for air. Let's try. Did he unhide his result yet? First, he posted on Facebook with ECC off, just as a tease or whatever. Then he posted on HyperBot with the valid link hidden. Has he finally gotten around to actually posting full score? You know. It's sort of tempting me to get an AMD card now that you're telling me it's so close to the 4090. So let's check the rankings. It's not okay. I understand. So 56 spot is the first AMD card, and that's only 50 globals. That's hardly worth it. What happened? Okay. So the way is gonna be keep to what we had before. So 1250 was good in terms of passing. And just keep going down in steps of 10. Even though I was at, I'm only going up 5 megahertz now, which is kind of lame. So let's give it 25 on the RAM. I don't care about Hall of Fame. It's so irrelevant. Like it's been proven like beyond any doubt that ECC off scores can just be totally, not totally cheated, not an arbitrary score, but like plus or minus 10% for sure. So that score is just like totally irrelevant. I mean, Hall of Fame is totally irrelevant anyway versus Hyperbot rankings, but in this case with the 4090 especially so. Old 6970. Kicks is 6970. This is the first 6970 I ever owned. They are. Shaggy, I think you might be mixing something up. I sent you a dead 7970 Lightning, and I may have also sent you a dead 5870 Lightning. But this is the first 6970 at all that I own, and also the first 6970 Lightning, obviously. I can't wait to get a water block on it and stuff. I just 6970. Okay. I may have at some point owned a 6970 reference that was never alive. That like I bought dead on arrival. But I don't remember ever actually running a 6970 through 3D. Could be someone else too. Yeah, I got it from Aussie eBay. It was 130 Aussie dollars. That's probably a lot of money for a card as old as this, but when I saw it, I was like, if I don't buy this, I'm gonna regret it. Lightning. 6970 Lightning, no. Definitely haven't owned one. I have 6870 Hawks. I have a lot of 6950s. It's always nice when people give you really nice pieces of hardware without remembering when it happened and who did it. Yeah, I don't remember any of the other cards being all that impressive, to be honest. But I should have another look now. That was for sure the standout. I mean, this. Let's face it. I pretty much own all the good cards that exist except this. So, damn, nothing listed anymore. Okay, let's if this passes, let's try to note down the end frame. So what are people? Let's. We're almost at the end. Oh, I gave you 580 sock. I still have 3 580 socks and 3 580 lightnings and 2 dark hues. Shit, anyone see the end frame? God damn it. So GPU score is up like 500 or something. Nothing amazing. So 980 1525 equals 25.1k. So I was just gonna switch to the browser for a bit. What people are getting in terms of memory? 1550, 1575, 600 sometimes. And what I see do I have? I suspect Hynix. Okay. So let's save that profile and let's try 1575. What's the worst that could happen? You've won a 580 stock recently. I thought you were retiring from benching, Mick. 570, 560 Hawk. I mean, the 1080 Hoffs that are out there in dailies and stuff, they're the not like Galaxy is so sneaky because they release 1080 Hoff retails that are basically like not like the same with the 1080 Ti Hoff, 980 non Ti Hoff. Like the retail Hoffs are not good benching cards. I got stuck with the bad. I think it was a 1070 Ti Hoff, a 1080 Hoff. So that wouldn't interest me in the slightest. I mean, 560 Hawk can be nice. 570 Sock can be nice. Thanks, Yi. So, that's a shame. Let's go. Yeah, low OCP, but I mean, I prefer the lightnings, to be honest. A Hynix lightning is good. The direct CUs have sort of a pretty good reputation. Not sure about, was there Matrix as well? Those are like unicorns, but I guess that'll be another option. Skew per phase current sense. I didn't think it was that hard to do. I mean, the threads are probably dead and stuff, but there was definitely something on the forums at some point about the. I mean, the Extreme System forums for sure have threads, but a lot of the images of the mods are probably PhotoBucket hosted or Imager hosted and now dead. Yeah, White Shark with the knowledge bombs. Yes, relay hosts that have a GOC version are not good, which is a lot of them, right? Gifted KI. Who's KIF? Streaming benching. They die in sub 2 hours. So how have yours died? Actually, I've taken mine cold and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what a lot of these like backbones of the internet type services think too highly of themselves. You know, like Imager deciding not to host content from unregistered users anymore, and also pulling all not safe for work stuff. Like that's all Imager gets used for. You know, don't you want business? Don't you want stuff to actually be hosted on your site? Like, so Imager's done that. Then Bucket did something sort of similar. Then what was it? Pinterest did as well. I mean, I don't know. There's got to be another way of doing it. That end frame for GT1 looked low, which is crazy because I've added 25 memory. But hopefully GT2 end frame will be higher by a lot. Man, I can't believe it's 8:30 at night. I finished work at 4. I was hoping to stream by about 5:30, 6 o'clock, but then the board on my streamer decided to die, and I had to just jerry rig something together. Using sites specifically meant for idle content. I mean, I don't know. Like the whole point of the internet was that anything well, not anything goes, but that it's quite liberal, you know, in its approach to content moderation. And now it's just all being so commercialized. Like, what is it with PayPal as well? Like PayPal just sort of picks and chooses who it wants to have as a customer or not, which I think is bizarre. Like I think, like, even if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to be ethical about your business relations, at the end of the day, you don't know what people do. So, like, ostensibly, you know, Pornhub is, you know, dirty or whatever, and the lawyer from around the corner isn't. But that lawyer could easily represent the mob, just not be very open about it. You know, like, so we've got a 25.2 now. So that's just 100 more. It's starting to already smell like we need a full run, which is a shame. Let's try 10 megahertz steps. Ooh. Okay. That is definitely too much RAM clocks. Yeah. Damn it. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's it's a flawed approach. Like I personally am just fundamentally opposed to the idea of what they're trying to do, but I can understand both sides of that argument very, very well, I think. And, you know, I'd be fine if that's what went on. But the fact that what they're trying to do is essentially impossible, that's what adds, total cruelty to it because, you know, there's so much. Not only are you not um, catching the bad guys, let's put it that way, but you're also hurting the good people, good guys. For that's just, I don't know. It's just a bit dumb. 1555. I didn't intend to go in 5 megahertz steps, but let's try. eBay considered them sus. It's just so dumb. And like, I just. Ooh, I think I said the wrong vGPU, but let's see how it goes. So I did a training today, like one of these e-trainings at work, just a mandatory safety, like security training, and it basically said, "Oh, watch out for SMS scams. Don't click on the links. Scammers have now wisened up to the fact that." Ooh, there was an FPS drop there. Okay, let's just totally restart this run. Okay, what we want 1250. I don't know why 1250 is overvolting so much. Yeah, I might have to go to 1225, but let's just do a fresh run in case that was just an aberration. But like, the training was just hilarious because like I mean, it is true. Like scams have sort of migrated to SMS, but why have they? Because every fucking thing you ever sign up to wants multi-factor authentication, and you can't get around it. And like the training ends with, only give out your mobile phone number when it's absolutely necessary. Well, it's fucking necessary for me to go like grocery shopping at this point virtually. Like it's, like basically there's just a totally smooth spectrum between company that legitimately needs your phone number and total and utter scammer. And like some companies, like so-called legit companies, are like 3/4 of the way towards a scammer while being ostensibly being legit, So it's just use common sense trainings. But it's just okay. So the hiccup was around here, and I don't think we have one now. So let's keep this run going. And like, it's just I don't want to get too much into the details, but let's just say I'm just trying to I'm gonna try to keep this as vague as possible. But so in a scenario in which I find myself often. I am on a network, a LAN, let's say, that has certain measures in place. And one of the measures is that every link you click in a certain chat program, which I won't mention the name of, gets replaced behind the scenes with a link to a certain cloud provider, which I won't name, in order for them to phishing, like scam check that link individually. But I could, it's such a dumb system because I can click the same link 100 times and it'll be sent out of that LAN to a certain cloud provider every single time. And it's like that mechanism is the bigger scam than whatever scam you may have clicked on had that mechanism not been in place. So there's so much overreaction and so many false senses of security and things that are being put in place these days. And then of course, okay, I won't get. I'll get myself into trouble if I go further into that. But and I very often have the reaction when I get an actual text message from my actual bank saying, "We've seen suspicious activity on your credit card. Was this really you?" I'm like, "That's probably a scam." So it's such a time drain too, because then the other aspect of it is, let's say I do actually have to call my bank for something that I legitimately cannot do through online banking. It's like, first of all, it takes forever to get through to an actual human being. And then they ask you for like 15 pieces of personal information where it's like, yes, I have been the person that I am for 35 years, yet I struggle to remember the pieces of information you require of me to prove that I am who I am. It's just gotten a bit of out of hand at this point. Anyway, how did we get onto this topic? Sorry, Siad, you never thought about what? Thought about overclocking or scams? Age reveal. I think I've mentioned that on stream a bunch of times before. That's not a secret. Meanwhile, what's going on with the Aussie budget? Still going on. He's still talking. International travel costs are to increase. I don't want that. The fuck? $10 more for a passenger movement charge? Fuck you, treasurer. Yeah, and I mean it's just endless. Like at one point I was renting or considering renting a house, but the landlord had gone sort of like direct. Like he was too cheap to pay the real estate agent's fee. And I mean, I hate real estate agents, so I get where he's coming from. But basically, in order to be able to list on the regular property websites as a private individual, he went through this like third party service, which all they provided was like a sign and a name and like certain websites as like a backend to you as a landlord. So then when I was applying for this place, I'm like, is this a scam? And it was funny because I then called up this third party site basically to be like, hey, is this guy legitimately a landlord? And I ended up, I don't know if it was like it was a really, don't get me wrong, like it was a really small operation, but I think I ended up with the chief operating officer or something, someone really high up in the company. He was like, yes, this person is actually a landlord. And we're surprised that you're calling us, because usually landlords think tenants are scamming them, so it's just, everything always goes in all directions. It's just hard to be safe from anything. The bank's online system. A bank I use, I don't think I use them. I don't use them anymore, or they don't have that password policy. But they must have had a mainframe on the back end, because their password policy, I shit you not, was um, something along the lines of six, no more, but also no less than 6 characters. And alphanumeric only, and I think it wasn't even case sensitive. It was so fucking dodgy. Okay, I'm gonna go to a different screen resolution. This may knock out the capture card again. Hopefully not. Okay, no, it's actually liked that. That's good. Okay, let's make a screenshot, eh? Retina display. Sure. Ah, god damn it. Oh, I don't need the sensor tab because... Okay, 31683. 31... where am I at? Ooh, just be Griff on LN2. Nice. 31683. Okay. So what was 25164 GTs and 142243 CTs. Okay, so that's a 38 pointer, so that's nice. I'm gonna try for a bit more, but it's sort of starting to look pretty like maxed out already. But let's make sure we save this score and show the mainboard tab, because I got this board from Gigabyte and it's really helping me out. Let's show VCore as well, like so. So that was 31.7K. Let's save the valid, which I think actually isn't required. I mean, we're so on the edge with memory. I wonder if it would like a little bit of... Oh yeah, let's give it 100. If I remember right, Hynix isn't 1575. Oh no, I didn't mean that. So let's give memory 100. And then 1575 here. Okay, at least we're not getting the artifacting. And now we can go side again because, you know. Let's just do a GTs only run for a second. Oh, so can I mod the memory timings? I didn't know that. I should try doing that. Gonna put that in my notes. Shaggy, I just got the card today, and it's the first time I'm running 6000 series in a long time, and what I've previously run was 6990s. Okay. So is it sort of like the 290X where you can apply, like, there's like straps and you can apply the lower strap to the higher memory frequencies, or is it more involved than that where you can like tighten beyond what the lowest strap has, or are there straps to begin with? I'm not going to flash today, but that's definitely something to keep in mind. I mean, obviously there's so much potential here. The CPU can go on chiller, then maybe it might do 5.5 or 5.6 instead of 5.4. The card can go on chiller and might do like 1050. instead of 980. The VRAM can be modded. I'm still not happy with the system in terms of memory timings and stuff. Okay. So that's a pretty easy mod then. So it seems to be scaling with memory voltage. Is that normal? Like, how much memory voltage should I be applying? Up to 1.8, and I mean, I won't do it mid-run, but I'll actually move my probes around because I've sort of found this sweet spot on GPU. I wonder if there's another bench that would make sense, actually, for this. 03, for sure not. I mean, 11? 11 could be interesting. I mean, even 06, the card is so slow. I'd love to see an 06 CPU test, actually. 311, 06. Yeah, that's kind of it. '06 just, I mean, maybe the GTs get hurt, but '06 basically is just like a thread whore. Like, it just, I think it spawns a thread per physical CPU up to 127 cores, something like that. I'd give it a go after this, it'll be interesting. But then the thing with '06 is, yeah, you need GPU clocks as well. It's been fun though, but like, it's a promising start. I mean, first of all, I wasn't entirely sure how AM5 would react to old cards like this. So I'm happy that just enabling the compatibility support module was enough to just basically get it running really nicely. Like, even 16X, PCI 2.0, you know, you've got those issues on the Z790, so that's cool. I haven't done like an efficiency comparison, like are the GTs what they should be clock for clock. Like, just to put it out there, it passed, but it scored worse. Pretty much identical GT1, but worse GT2. That's weird. Let's just give it another 25 and... Okay, move my probes first. So that's 1.7. We'll see if we can do 1600 on 1.7. If not, we'll give it another 50 millivolts. And then another 50. Oh, sorry, you wanted... Okay, I'll do that run, and if it fails, the first thing I'll do is go into GPU-Z and look at the memory timings. Yeah, you don't need the mod. I mean, it's not insta failing. Oh, there was a hiccup there. Um, let's look at the timings. It's on advanced, isn't it? And then memory timings. Okay, so oh, so 1500 and above is the loosest timings, I guess. Okay, let's give it one more rerun, and if we have the hiccup again, then give it a bit more volts. Yeah, the whole PCI 2.0 bullshit started with Z490. Like that's when the CSM module was introduced and everything. 390 was the last platform to just run pretty much everything. Maybe with some issues with dual GPUs and stuff, but oh, we had a 100 FPS start. I like that. That's the first time we've seen a 100 FPS that early. So 490, 590, 690, 790 are, as far as I'm concerned, sort of the same thing. Because now when XP64 was found, as far as I'm aware, that's for those four platforms as well. Wow, why would anyone want to run 6990 on cold? No points in that. I just ran chiller, I think. Okay, let's give it another 50. So this should be 7.5 or so. And let's give it a quick render test. Yeah, Haleas are good. I have two 500 watt Halea chillers. No 100 FPS start, but maybe a pass at least. Okay, it's starting to look like we're hitting a bit of a brick wall here, but let's give it another 50 megahertz or 50 millivolts. And check multimeter. Yeah, it's almost 1.8. And then after that, I can go down like in 10 megahertz steps or something. Yeah, I guess because Sydney is so humid, but I've never really felt the need to mod my chillers. I just set them to the dew point. You know, it might be like 10 degrees, it might be 15 degrees. If it's really bad, it'll be like 18 degrees. But the thing is, it gives me sort of, 10 to 15 degrees below ambient, and it gives me a constant temperature, which I find important. Is you can really just do a bunch of testing, and you can handle a high heat load with it as well. I've run like 4 cards with my two chillers, 1,000 watts total chilling power. Um, you just set even just 25, and your water is going to be 25 at the start of the run and at the end of the run, basically. Um, but I mean, yeah, Sub-Zero is nice as well. If you is this now going further, and interesting that there's so much droop on the memory. It's like overvolting on the core, but droop on the memory. It's kind of funny. Let's watch the end. No, let's not watch the end frame. Hey, so yeah, so there is quite a bit of droop. Okay, so next thing we can do is go down in 10 increments. New phase. What have you got now, and why do you need to replace it? Is it higher heat load capacity or lower temps, or why are you getting a new phase? Or did just the old one break or something? Okay, let's watch the end frame. Ooh, that was a bit of a stutter. Hopefully we're still on full clocks. There or thereabouts. Let's let it finish. An SS that can do X299. That's really nice. Compies as in compressors. Okay. Yeah, Cascade is interesting. I mean, the last place I lived, my bench room was upstairs, so a Cascade went up for sale in Australia, and it was a decent price, but it was like 60 kilos, and I just couldn't see myself lugging a Cascade up there. Now I'm ground floor. I do own a single stage, but it's been like I've been hoping that it'll get regassed by someone I know for a while now. But if anyone remembers the early streams, let's say like the first 20 or 30 streams, I used the SS a lot. But I mean, at the end of the day, the absolute best temperature control possible is LN2. So if, you know, if you have infinite money and infinite patience to pour and stuff, the best way to bench is with LN2. LN2 is the best way to hold minus 20, and it's the best way to hold minus 190, and everything in between, basically. Because what are the odds of a CPU needing exactly minus 100 or exactly minus 50? You might be happy at minus 55, but maybe your SS only goes to minus 50. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love a Cascade and an SS as well, just for options. But I've sort of decided or made peace with the fact that my cooling options will be chiller and LM2 and not very much in between. Okay, end frame here, we're hoping 10.8K or better. So we've passed 1590 memory, but it is scoring worse again. I mean, not by a lot. Just fractions of an FPS. Should I be closing D3 overrider? Not sure that's really helping me with such low FPS. Let's do a rerun and see. And then we should try and knock out an 06. Yeah, cost of LN2 for me went up 80. Was it 80%? Yeah, about 80%, but it was a really good price before, so I can't complain. Like, it's in absolute terms, it's not gone up much for me. Yeah, my SS, I don't really know what happened to it. It ended up just idling at like -5. So I kind of, even though I don't know anything about SSs, I kind of realized it must need a regas. Why? Because I mean, it was compressing, it was spinning up. So, you know, 40%. Yeah. But I think my supplier of LN2, he on his end hadn't had a price increase in like 10 years or 15 years. So It was a very, very good price, and now it's just a good price, let's say. There's really not any tweaks on AMD, is there? So lot and tests, no go in this bench. I could bin through future market versions, that's about it. Hey, Mickey. I mean, it was never truly cheap. I mean, it depends, right? Like, cinema here on like a prime time sort of day is like $25 a person. So I can go to the cinema 6 times, or I can get an LN2 fill up, which lasts me like 3 weeks. You know, if you put it that way, it's like the cost of a really, really nice meal for 2 people is one LN2 fill up. And like the meal is over in like an hour and a half, and the fill up can last you like in terms of raw pouring time. If it's like all 2D you're doing and like low core counts and stuff, it's still like what, 30 hours at least for me, like for 95 liters. I don't know. I've never really calculated the burn rate, but something in those along those lines. Okay, we're looking for 10.8. Are we even going to get that? Okay. That might legit be the best GTs we've had. Okay, so killing D3D definitely helped. I don't think we've seen anything close to 25.2 recently. Yeah, okay. I think okay, let's first save that profile. Then, just because I'm greedy, up the core by 25. Then test CTs. Then do full run with a little bit of an improvement potentially. Why is it cold in here? Come on, Rig, warm up the room. It's all that air blowing on me. Okay, come on, give me a pass. And then I can do a full run in the knowledge that more than likely it's gonna inch up the score just a little bit and make me feel all warm inside, which is necessary on a day where it's like forecast to be 4 degrees overnight or something. We're getting an early winter out here in Australia. Okay, CT2 coming up, which, unless it's a thermal thing, I don't often see fails on CT2 actually. I should try some different Drivers as well. Everyone seems to be on 15.7.1 though. Okay, 42.8. Let's just do a full run. I mean, it hurts me to be 5k behind Buildy, but you know what? Like, Windows 10 could easily be better for Vantage than Windows 8.1. It wouldn't really surprise me, to be honest. Okay, just because I'm greedy. AMD fuel service. Why is it not popping up with a please restart now to apply? Okay, no, let's just do the run. Anything in here that's actually interesting to us? I mean, test definitely doesn't do a thing, doesn't do anything. Does this make it non-legal? Oh yeah. Let's go with that and then check our valid and then do 06. Yeah, like Sydney I don't live in the city, but there's an observatory. There's a place called Observatory Hill in Sydney, in the city of Sydney, that has like a telescope for looking at the stars, but it also has an official weather station. And I guess what that's referring to is 7.7 Celsius at Observatory Hill, whereas where I'm at, it's a little bit of elevation and further inland. And yeah, I've had 3 degrees overnight. I wonder what it is right now, actually. 6 degrees, gonna be 4 degrees overnight. Okay, let's just play. The temptation is quite big to just keep plugging away at it. Like maybe now I could add like a bit of BCLK or something, but if this run, basically if this run scores somewhere in the vicinity to the previous GT's only run combined with the previous CT's run, I just have to let it go, I think. Whether that's going to be enough to so we already had him beat Max. I mean, let's have a look at the score actually, because that's quite interesting that he did like full LN2 on Ivy. Imagine running Ivy for Vantage. I mean, it may have been just like a second bench to run after he ran something else, but imagine running Ivy at 5.7 for Vantage, 40 CPU. That's rough. We're on to CTs actually. Oh no, GT2. So, I mean, 1240, not bad. What card is that? That's a lightning. A little bit of insulation there. Or is it just like plastic tipped? And the board isn't even like a proper XOC board. It's the Z77X UD3 or something like that. I used to own one of these. UD3H. Close. Man, that's going back 2017. Huh. That was the year Mad Trips won. Okay, let's take in this final run in all its glory. Alright, hoping for 10.85 or better. That's what we had last time. Look at all these camera moves. There's no, like, you know, originality like that in 3D Max these days. I mean, saying that, I think Wildlife was a pretty good GT to look at. All right, 10K is passed. 10.8, 10 point, almost 10.9. Okay, now just steady CTs. I'm not even going to look at them actually. I'm just going to assume the CTs are going to be banging, basically. Okay, let's have a look at 06. I wonder how the scaling is on 06. Look at Joe at 960 here. So this guy is running Raptor. 5.6 Raptor. I wonder if that's achievable. 17K CPU score. Let's actually also look at if someone has kind of seriously run 06 on this. Okay, score's about to pop out. We want 31.9. Like that's a good increase. So that's like 200 increase from previous. I'm happy with that. Let's snapshot that. I am gonna just quickly valid. Is the valid required? I don't think it is, but no, I'm not gonna bother. Let's really curious to run 06. I deleted the shortcuts earlier. That's what I get for trying to be tidy. Bites you in the ass later when you actually want to run that bench. Not the icon, but the... Yeah, okay. I'll valid in a minute then. No, I need to disable system info. That's better. So 17K, 10 FPS, nice. It's very smooth. 11 for the peak. $20K CPU. Whew. Wow. Okay, now we gotta actually get 20K. Let's up the cores a bit. I'm feeling like we gotta push. And here we can rerun. Wow. I speculated this might be good, but I'm a bit positively surprised. 20.8K. Okay, we gotta let's look. So that's beating a 9900K at 6.6 gigahertz. Is that still the first score? That's crazy. Yeah, so I mean we're not gonna get those GTs, but 2K in physics basically is already a nice little get. I hope this bench isn't heavier than Vantage. It can sometimes be, but let's just try same clocks. Okay. And would I need D3D override, or given that this is much higher in terms of yeah, let's give it a rerun. 23K. Yeah, I mean that's just I'm at like almost 21K like second run. Okay. I these kind of things you always want to see a fail. You know what I mean? Or you don't want to see any fails. You want to just clock infinitely, but you're leaving something on the table if you don't keep running that subtest until it actually crashes. Is what I'm trying to say. $55.5. No run? Oh. Okay. It's an InOS fail though, so that's good. There we go. There's the crash. Because I'm super greedy, I'm gonna try. Actually, we're SMT off. We could go higher VCore, but I'm gonna try 55.25, and if that passes, that'll be it. Yeah, but I mean, how else do you send? Besides, I know Zen States looks sketchy, but how else do you set clocks in OS quickly? I'll have to hit up Mr. Infrared for a new version. He sent me that like really early on when he didn't have an AM5 system yet. Let's go 55.5, 1.4. I feel like my OS needed a bit of a reboot anyway. It probably doesn't score that well after so many reruns. Yeah, I mean, Horizon Master just takes too long to open up and find the right little slider or whatever. Are we still bench res? We're still bench res. We should be all good actually, but let's just double check our clocks. That's fine. Let's go run the bench with GPU clocks applied just in case that makes a difference. I doubt, but come on, 1.4. Nice. Oh. 12 peak. Worse. Okay. I think it's one of those things where you need to like rerun, you know, to get scaling. Let's try 5.6. If you're gonna be really running anyway, we may as well try higher clocks, right? Yep. Okay. Close. Clock down again. Make sure we get the score that we want. I mean, it's barely spitting up. I don't think it's like thermal throttling and scoring lower than because of that. Just chuck in a few reruns. Ooh, no, that's totally going in the wrong direction. Okay, I stand corrected. Let's go back to our previous vCore and I think we passed 5.525 on 1.35 vCore. I think that was it. Maybe it's power throttling or something. 5.525, 1.35. Hopefully the OS efficiency isn't fucked. I want 20k. I know I saw 20.7, but now that we're seeing all kinds of dodginess, I want 20k on in a past full run. Yeah, it's just an old bench, man. The older the bench, the swingier it gets often. Yeah, let's apply our clocks. Still peaking at 12, but why is there's something okay? A bit funny going on. Okay, let's just hope that the rerun solves things. Apply, please. And I think D3D is useful here. So yeah, LN2 Raptor is 30k, fair enough. Let's check the top ambient. Oh 06. Okay. Now I definitely need to. Okay, let's try by lowering memory first. Okay, looking at a random AKM water score at 5.9 on a 3900K. Okay, 25. Fair enough, fair enough. See, I've sort of been having trouble finding a 3900K. They're really popular now, whereas 7950X people are already getting rid of because, you know, AM5 didn't meet people's expectations and things like that. So it's like a poor man's 3D chip, you know? I mean, a rich man's Vantage chip, ambient, but a poor man's oh 06. If it's only memory, I mean, the scaling off of memory probably isn't massive either. If it's only memory I have to lower, then I'm happy with that. GD2 is. I'm trying to remember. GD2 can be quite heavy on the GPU on oh 06, right? Yeah, Firefly. It's a short test, but it can be a killer. By the way, I don't really know why I'm running 1.8 VMem if I've. Yeah, was that core or was that memory? Okay, for the sake of wrapping up the stream and getting a pass out, I'm gonna go 960. Yeah, I was thinking core as well, but we'll see. Rig's looking pretty. I just want to stand up, stretch my back, grab a snack at 9:30 at night. That's the part that can be a bit annoying. You know you're gonna pass GT1, but you have to run it again anyway, and sometimes it's like lower at the same clocks, and it's like, can I just keep the GT1 from the previous run and just rerun It's like, I almost prefer to just have it be like 01, you know, where you can just keep rerunning stuff until you have the best score and everything. Well, you can't really in 01, but you know what I mean. At least you have the option. Ooh, someone knocked out an Aqua on 4870X2. I have no idea if that end frame was good or not, but at this point it's like a pass is a pass is a pass is what I'm sort of aiming for. So yeah, earlier today and yesterday I was running Raphael iGPU, so the 128 shader. I think it's the same iGPU in all of the chips on AM5, because it's like a new thing, right? Like Intel has had a tiny little iGPU just for display out type thing in their like KSQs and stuff for many generations, and now AMD is doing it for the first time in a non-APU. Still hoping for APUs to come out for this platform. I'm glad that the Tachyon has display out, so I'm safe for that. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it scales like it scales so much because, you know, it's such a small iGPU. There's a lot of scores on the bot at 3000 plus. Mine can only do about 2940. So I'm going to try my 7600X as well because it's the same iGPU, just to see that aspect of it. But of course, for certain benches, I'd be stuck with the 7950X. Like Time Spy, you need the threads, and you know, so if my 7600X is better, I can maybe run off an 01, 03, 05, Aqua, Heaven Basic, Heaven Extreme. But it doesn't solve the issue of. This is a really nice GT actually. I like canyons, both in 05 and 06. Most of the reason why I like it is because it's towards the end of the bench, so it's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna pass. But part of it is also that I actually like the little monster coming out of the water and attacking and all that. There we go. Oh, I need to be setting LOD, haven't I? Okay, I'll do that off stream. If my efficiency sucks, you can just put that down to missing LOD. I was wondering why everything looks so clear, and I'm like, damn, no LOD applied. Yo, so Lumi took global first, and then Splave whipped out his USB. Oops. $4,300 RAM or 8,400 RAM about. It's not bad. But let's, so 06, damn it. Where's our 06? So we're aiming at like, I don't know, 43k or something. It's probably nowhere near that. Now that LOD isn't on. 42k, okay. Still a 30 pointer, I'll take that any day of the week. Okay, let's see if we can fit our all our stuff in here on bench res. That's a bit of a squeeze. So I put this up here. Hey, it's not looking good, is it? Yeah, Lumi's efficiency better, but more than likely that's Lumi's best score, whereas Splave might still have backups. So it's sort of nonsensical to judge. You can judge Lumi's efficiency because if he had a backup, we'd probably have already posted it. But it's sort of nonsensical to judge Splave's efficiency because it might just be a bad run. That's his like third best run, but it's good enough as a backup to put up to counter Lumi, you know? So always have to keep that in mind. I've got so much space now, but I still... Okay. God damn it. Can you tell I'm getting tired? Okay, what do we need? We need main board. What's that? 42.2k. Okay. 1 millisecond. All right. I have a vacation coming up, so no stream next Tuesday. But I'm liking this Tuesday schedule. So once I'm back in the country, I'll aim to keep it up. It's been a lot of fun. Learn a lot, both from the card and the system, and you guys tell me about, you know, modding memory timings and all that kind of stuff. Nice hyper pics or screenshots. So thanks for sticking around for this 3-hour stream. I guess I need to buy a new motherboard for my streaming rig because I can't keep my Unify X in there forever and have it outside the case on just a bench table. But yeah, I'll think about that when I'm back from my vacation. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And until next time, thanks for watching.